tutorial. We're gonna use Blender, and also we're gonna use Papercraft add-on, which will enable us to print the sculpture on paper, and then you can cut it and glue it as an object. Okay, first of all, you're gonna need to download Blender. It's a free software. You can get it at blender.org, and you go to download and you download the version for your computer you need. And then once you start it, I will start a new file now. You start with an empty file. It's gonna look like this. It always has the camera, the default cube, and one light. First, you need to save your file. That's always a good idea when you start a new project. Digital sculpture Papercraft. Okay. Yes, on a Apple laptop, you can pinch zoom into the scene with 2 fingers. You can rotate around the scene. On a mouse, or I think on PC, it's very similar with the trackpad, and also with the mouse, you have a 3-button mouse. You can zoom in with a scroll wheel, and you can also, by pressing the middle mouse button, you can, rotate around the scene. Okay, so this is the object mode, which means we are looking at the whole object. Once we go into the edit mode, we can edit details of the object. Everything is selected now. When you click beside the object, next to the object, then it's deselected, and you want to have the vertices here selected, so we can select single points on the model and move it around with the move tool. So we can go like this and move it a bit like here. I'm gonna select another corner of the cube, move it inwards, a little bit down, and then you can also keep rotating around it so you see what you're actually doing. I can also take one of these lower corners, and then with the surface, you're moving in 2 directions at the same time. This is pretty sharp already here. Yeah, and maybe as a sculptor, you want to look at the proportions and the surfaces, and there's a right angle down here. We want to also get rid of the right angle. And just do as you like. I think this looks pretty good already. I like it. And then we're gonna add another little feature, maybe on this side here. So now we have just the cube distorted, but we can also add more points to the model. Herefore, I go to the segment mode. I select this segment. I'm not gonna move it, but I'm gonna add an edge to it. So add a vertex to it by I'll go to the edge, sorry. Go to edge, and then I'm gonna subdivide the edge. So this means when I go back to vertex mode, I see there's another new point which came up, and by selecting the single point, I can also move it. So we have another new corner on the model here. You can repeat this, but don't repeat it too many times, because it's gonna be very hard later to glue the model when you have too many surfaces. Okay, so this looks pretty good. I can also go to the wireframe mode up here. I see a little bit more of my model with the transparency. And what's important that you, now we have these distorted surfaces, and we need to triangulate them for printing them later. For this, we need to exit the edit mode, go back to object mode. So this is the whole object, it's highlighted, and then you want to add a modifier. Modifiers are tools which you can apply to your object. There's many of these, and it's like smart layers in Photoshop. Maybe you can fool around with it, and you can also always take them back unless you apply them. Okay, so we need to triangulate this, and as you can see, the modifier has added more edges to the model. We can also go back to the other view to see it better. You get an idea how the distortion is here going, and also you can change in between beauty and clip, but it doesn't really change much in this case. Okay, and then we need to apply this modifier. So this is like kind of melted into it now. You can't change the modifier anymore. Anyway, we have this beautiful model. We have triangulated the model, and now we want to put a texture on it. So we go to the panel down here, which is for materials. There's already the default material on it. It's just white. You can also change the color, but we want to put a picture on top of it, wrapping around it. And for this, you click the little yellow button here and you select image texture. And then you need to select a file. And I have prepared this screenshot on my desktop. Boom. And the texture is on the model. Okay, so and now there's different ways textures can wrap around a model. I mean, it looks pretty good, but we can play around a little bit. So you select it, you go back to the edit mode, and also you select everything by this rectangle, or you can always press A. For example, when it's not selected, you press A, everything is selected. And for different styles of wrapping around, you can go to UV and try this. Cube projection looks like this. You can also go to cylinder projection, which looks also pretty cool. And sometimes it's funny is the projection from view with bounce, and it takes the picture and projects it like right onto it the way you look at it. Okay, I'm gonna keep it like this. I think this is cool. I go back to the object mode. You can also, by going switching between object and edit mode, you hit the tab key, which is the top left on your keyboard, the one arrow facing to the right side. So you can switch in between these two modes very easily. Okay, and now we need the Papercraft add-on, which is it's coming with Blender, but we need to activate it. So you go to Preferences and you search for paper, and then you find the import-export paper model. It's already turned on in my version here, of course, but you turn this on and then you close the window. And next thing on the side panel up here, there's a little arrow. You have a new tab down here, paper. So we want this to be a Papercraft model. First of all, you go to unfold. There's some unfold options you can do. So it unfolds the whole distorted cube, but also it creates little flaps to glue to. When we go into the edit mode, you can see it has created these seams already here. It's not very good to see, and then you go to export paper model, and there's a bunch of settings here again. So it scales automatically, so it fits on one page, but we have a printer today in class. We have an A3 printer. It's a bit bigger. So you can scale it that it fits on the page. Wait, clicking. It's 1:1, fits on the page, A3. And then you want to include textures from material. Okay, I hope. And then we can increase the texture resolution, 150, it's a bit nicer. Let's see, I hope this works. Can also put like, put this print. Okay, so I find it. Exporting, it does something, this is very nice. And then we go to our desktop, and this is the new Papercraft model here. Great. So we can print it, and then you can use scissors and glue and knife to put this together. Thanks for watching this tutorial. I hope this was helpful, and have fun with your model. And yeah, you can, of course, you can add more edges, but as you can see, it's already getting kind of intricate because you need to put it together still. Okay, great. Then have fun, enjoy, and see you next time.